Hey there, Sass Squad. I didn't do a team breakdown in my last video where I put a replica code, so I'm gonna just briefly do that here. If you wanna just skip to the battles, there'll be a timestamp here on the screen. You could just click on it or whatever. But yeah, so this is a trick room team where the goal is to get Camerupt to sweep, but there are options with Goodra and Drampa as well. Sneasler is a pretty good support Pokemon. It's pretty standard. You should probably already generally know how to use this thing. I am running Camerupt with negative speed nature, quiet nature with the special attack boost, and I'm going max special attack, max HP, with the rest spread in the defenses just to keep its speed low. Drampa, I am actually going modest nature, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, and similar kind of concept build-wise, just not minus speed nature. Oranguru, this is just kind of like a build I saw on Wolfgalix, or maybe it was Joe. It was a video he was putting out with Oranguru, and I feel like it's pretty standard, the spread. Sableye, I wanted mine to be more defensive. Honestly, mainly because of Incineroar and King Gambit, but it's probably really up to... I don't know if it even matters that much. I honestly didn't even really think about the EV spread much on Sableye. But yeah, anyways, Goodra, it's more of a defensive build. I am running Body Press Shelter, which is pretty much Iron Defense with Iron Head. Iron Head is primarily for Froslass, for Floette. But I am actually running Ancient Power on Camerupt. So whenever Camerupt Mega evolves, it gets Sheer Force. So something that has a secondary effect, it gets removed, and then there's a 30%. It's pretty much like having a Life Orb boost on, if I'm not mistaken, on your attack. So I originally was running a completely different moveset, but since I started putting Protect on and focusing purely on special attacking, I feel like Earth Power and Heat Wave are pretty standard or pretty good options. I mean, Heat Wave, it is unfortunate with the accuracy potential chance to miss, but I found Ancient Power to be really nice because it can one-shot Charizard Y, and if you've noticed, I have Sunny Day on Oranguru and Sableye. The idea is to try to take control of the weather between those two or Drampa, and typically you can neutralize Pelipper because they usually only run Weather Ball for a water move. So Ancient Power can even be a good option against Pelipper. And the cool thing about using something like Drampa, I am running Drampa as a potential Mega too. There are times where I will Mega Drampa. But if I ever bring Drampa with Camerupt, ideally you want to use Drampa to control the weather, because these water Pokemon that only run Weather Ball as their coverage move to be in the rain, Drampa can turn that into a normal move because of Cloud9. Its ability pretty much negates all weather effects. Even though the weather stays on the field, the effects will not be there, so there won't be any defensive boost in sand and snow, and there won't be any speed from the sun and blah blah blah. You get it. Yeah, generally this is a pretty fun team. You gotta be careful with something with Sableye. I liked it because it has Fake Out. I can set up Sunny Day. I can burn. Knockoff is always nice too. I'm running Bright Powder, which actually honestly really came in handy a lot of matches. A lot of dodges and misses from my opponent, but you don't really want to bring this in on dark types like King Gambit and Incineroar if you can avoid it, because you're not going to be able to even touch them with Prankster. Dark type Pokemon are immune to Prankster, so a lot of times I'll even bring Sableye with Oranguru in the lead and just Fake Out and get up Trick Room, and then I'll have Camerupt or something like Sneasler in the back to redirect and pretty much sweep. And then I also have a backup Trick Room on Sneasler as well. Goodra itself can actually handle a lot of teams just by setting up and body pressing, and yeah, even Drampa, like I said, sometimes that might be the option I might pick as my Mega, and I'll just kind of build around it. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of times I will try to lead Sableye just because of Fake Out, and Yeah, I think what's nice about Sableye being a fake out user is it is immune to fake out itself. So something like Sneasler and Incineroar, when they come in, they can't fake out Sableye. So even though Sableye can't Will-O-Wisp, or I mean, even like you're not gonna do much to Incineroar with Sableye, I guess. Like this build pretty much doesn't have much it can touch Incineroar. But fortunately, this team in general isn't too worried about Incineroar. I feel like with Goodra on the team and the potential burn, there isn't really too many physical attackers that can break through this team. I mean, even like a Sneasler, after you get a shelter off on Goodra, it's going to be able to tank a lot of moves. But anyways, that's the team breakdown. Let's just jump into these battles that I have. First battle. So my opponent is running Whimsicott, Steelix, Charizard, Venusaur, Basculegion, and Dragapult. So there's actually 3 potential Megas here, which I was assuming Charizard Y is one of them because of the Venusaur, and I suspect maybe Steelix, which I really haven't seen much of. But when I was looking at the team, I was thinking Sableye will probably be a pretty good lead here, being a Dark Ghost type. And I do have Fake Out, which I could get off safely. And I lead Oranguru as well because I'm thinking I'll just set up Trick Room, and it looks like Camerupt could go to town on this type of team. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to Fake Out Whimsicott here. I mean, initially I was like, do I just burn Steelix? But I'm like, no, I'll just Fake Out Whimsicott. I'm not too scared of Steelix, and if I get Trick Room off, then I'm in a pretty good position already out the gate. So I will Fake Out Whimsicott with Sableye. And then Steelix actually goes for Iron Defense, which could be scary, but pretty much what I have on the field right now isn't going to be too scared of that. I mean, you can't even hit Sableye with Body Press, and I can burn it with Will-O-Wisp, which will help my team deal with it, but I don't want to mess around with this too long. I definitely need to... I'm just leaving my Pokemon in, I guess, to get a safer switch into Camerupt, or kind of fish to see what they might want to do here. I go for Extra Sensory into Whimsicott because Oranguru will be faster here, and there's a, I think, 30% chance to flinch, so I might be able to shut down what this Whimsicott might do. It looks like it's going with an attack, maybe Moonblast into Sableye, but because I'm running Bright Powder, I'm getting a lot of value out of my Sableye here. So, seeing that they're definitely not going to Body Press Sableye, I see this as a good opportunity to switch in Camerupt because they're just going to try to Moonblast again, and Camerupt should be able to eat up a Moonblast relatively good. The Steelix ends up just going for an Iron Defense here, which makes sense. They're just trying to set up, probably take down Oranguru. But yeah, really good situation here. I get Sun Up on the switch as well, powering up Camerupt, and now I can just safely go for Heat Wave. And I think obviously I'll Mega as well, so Mega Camerupt and Heat Wave, and it's time for Instruct from Oranguru. So pretty much, if these Heat Waves connect, there's going to be no leftovers from the other side of the field. They're going to get completely eliminated, pretty much. Yeah. So right away, great positioning for me. No matter what they bring in, because I have Trick Room up, I have some pretty good coverage with Camerupt. In my last video, or I don't know if I even mentioned in the last video, that the reason why I switched to Ancient Power was it does one-shot Charizard Y. And yeah, it just... I just couldn't figure out a move that I would click on that wouldn't be a ground or fire move. I mean, granted, you know, against a water type, it might be nice to have Solar Beam, but it doesn't take advantage of Sheer Force. And I mean, granted, it's already doing like a good amount of damage in the sun, but you really don't want Camerupt to be in on water types if you can avoid it. The sun can help you tank a move sometimes, but honestly, Camerupt will get one-shot by some moves. that are water, just depending on your HP range. And yeah, even like burning a Basculegion and having Sun Up, it can almost one-shot you with like a liquidation. A Wave Crash will probably definitely take you out at times, depending on your HP range. But yeah, it's one of the tougher things to deal with. But that's why I run the Drampa, because it can resist water moves and kind of neutralize weather teams. And I can also Mega with it if I really want to just bring that instead of Camerupt at times. But yeah, pretty much here, they went for the double protect, the stall out, Trick Room, and then Venusaur tries a Sleep Powder while I protect with my Camerupt. And I need to just get Trick Room up here. So, I mean, they pretty much had to put Camerupt to sleep here. And they couldn't double in. If they doubled into Oranguru, that could have been a little dicier, but honestly, that was a pretty great position for me. I could have faked out with Sableye. So, yeah. Anyways, if you're new to the channel here, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers here on my VGC channel. I've been trying to be a little consistent about posting out videos. I wanted to do this one also just to kind of break down the team a little bit more. And there is a replica code in the description if you'd like to try it out. But yeah, in this match, I knew they would lead Tsareena, but I still bring Sableye anyways. I guess the thought process here was I could knock off, or I could set up Sunny Day if I needed it, and unfortunately, this is going to be kind of scary because Eruption from this Typholosion with a Helping Hand is going to like nuke the crap out of my team. So I kind of have to make a sacrifice here. I knew Oranguru would probably live this. Sableye unfortunately doesn't dodge and goes down. But it doesn't matter because I get Trick Room up, and that's pretty much worth the sacrifice in the beginning here. I don't know, sometimes I still bring Sableye against the Farigiraf to try to knock off on it, since it does do over half and like removes the item, which can be very helpful. And then once I get rid of that, I can actually take advantage of my Prankster and all that. But anyways, this is great positioning for Camerupt to just kind of go for Heat Waves and Instruct. As long as I can connect any damage to Typholosion, it's gonna weaken its Eruption. So Tsareena does not go for Helping Hand this time. I'm not sure why, but it goes down, and Typholosion is going to get hit again, if I'm not mistaken, by this Heat Wave and bring it down to such a HP range that these Eruptions are not really going to be doing much of anything. Yeah, it's down to 13%. So yeah, and just maybe it's Choice Scarf. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like that might be a common set. Choice Scarf. Just try to optimize your damage. Maybe Sun would have been better here for the Typholosion, but Helping Hand is also a good call. They bring in Gardevoir, which will be revealed to be Mega Gardevoir, but I'm just going to do the same thing again. Instruct plus Heat Wave. They will bring in Mousehold, and I think they only did this to try to get the Friend Guard up to help bulk out Gardevoir here, which it does actually seem to make a difference, because I mean, I'm assuming it's Friend Guard as the ability. We are in doubles, because look, I mean, sometimes they run Technician, but only if they're on the offense. I feel like if Friend Guard was not on the field, this might have done over half to Gardevoir, which means this might be more of a offensive Gardevoir and not kind of built in its defense. Like, they didn't bulk it out much, because Gardevoir should have a pretty good natural special defense, but they just end up quitting. Also, hit the like button on the video if you haven't. It does help out my content in the algorithm, and if you've gotten this far, I really appreciate it. I hope you try out this team and have some success with it. I have been climbing in the Master Ball a bit with it. I am a little nervous to switch up the team because I have been really enjoying this, but I have been wanting to kind of make a Pikachu team, which I feel like isn't going to be good at all, just based on the fact that Pikachu is really only going to offer like Fake Out. I mean, there is some potential it could use as a teammate. Just having Fake Out alone gives it viability, but I don't know. That might be entertaining as a video. So I was worried about this Rotom having Will-O-Wisp, which I didn't want to get my Hisuian Goodra burnt. It could be kind of annoying just because it neutralizes my leftovers and weakens all my attacks. So I'm going to Fake Out immediately here in Rotom and then just try to set up a shelter with Goodra. And the Rock Slide does miss Goodra, which allows me to ensure I don't get flinched here, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't. I would have been able to tank that, but it's nice that I don't get a flinch, so I can at least get my move off. And then in the next turn, I'm thinking I'll just go for a Will-O-Wisp into Aerodactyl to completely shut it down. That way Sinistcha can come in on it safely, and then I'll just protect, just in case they do have Will-O-Wisp. I was kind of trying to see what they might do with Rotom, and it looks like they actually are just going to try to go for a Hydro Pump into Sableye, which again, this is where the Bright Powder kind of comes into play. The Rock Slide's not really going to do much now that Will-O-Wisp is on Aerodactyl as well, so I can tank that nicely. But yeah, Hydro misses on Sableye, which I'm pretty sure that would have just taken me out here. But now I get a second life, and what I'll do is I'm actually going to target Rotom here. I think I do. I think I go for a burn into... Oh no, I go for a knockoff, I think. But I get flinched by the Rock Slide. Again, that's great that I get that miss. Because, again, another life. I get pretty lucky with that. I mean, probably should have... I mean, it doesn't even matter if I went for knockoff here, since my Goodra's faster. Because the berry already got activated anyway, so... Setting up Sun, then I just realized, like, you know what, since I'm still... Because I was kind of just letting Sableye go down. I figured I could just bring in Sinistcha and set up Trick Room. But I'm like, you know what, I could just set up Sun here, and even if the Hydro does connect, maybe I'll just live it. But they decided to switch it up here and actually go for a Thunderbolt. And it does remove Sableye, which is fine. At least now I have some wiggle room to bring in Sinistcha and just go for a Trick Room, which will allow Camerupt to kind of like sweep for the end game. I will connect my Body Press on Rotom, which is super good. And I'm kind of just ignoring the Aerodactyl at the moment. It's not going to be a threat now that it's burnt. Its moves aren't going to be able to hit Eeyore here with pretty much anything, especially with my defense boost. And because I have the burn, I'm not even worried about Dual Wing Beat. You'll see how much damage it does here. So I'm actually going to go for a Body Press to remove the Rotom, or if they decide to switch out. And they do actually switch in King Gambit, and they're not running Choppleberry. So this is a guaranteed knockout, unless they are Focus Sash. And yeah, King Gambit is completely eliminated, which is a pretty big threat to my Sinistcha. Not necessarily to Camerupt or anything, but I mean, it could always Trick Room and get some chip damage, which could end up being significant in the end. But yeah, it's completely gone. So that's one huge threat eliminated. And they end up having Floette left, which in this situation, unless they want to use something like Protect to stall out the Trick Room or whatever, which really isn't going to make much of a difference, I can go for Iron Head and Matcha Gotcha. And if they don't Protect here, they're pretty much just going to go down. So yeah, Mega Floette completely not a threat to this team, which is really nice. Yep, it's going to go down, and Aerodactyl still kind of just hanging out on the field as Sinistcha is eating up the attacks and getting health back from Matcha Gotcha. And from there, it's pretty much game. I mean, I think they might forfeit here if I'm not mistaken. Because I just can't see like what they could possibly do. Yeah. GG. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this team. my goal hasn't been to hit champion, but a part of me, it's not that I don't think a team like this could make champion. I think it could. The thing about playing Pokemon and team building, I mean, I've been playing since I've been playing pretty much every generation since the inception of Pokemon. But like Gen 4 is when like online competitive like singles and stuff started becoming popular, and that's where I started originally. But I will say, if you're trying to get into VGC, one of the best ways to learn is definitely borrowing someone's team and trying to understand why it works well. Why are the EV spreads the way they are? Blah blah blah. Why did they build the team a certain way? And just playing the game. Like there's so many. Being in a blind format like this. Oh wait, I wanted to say real quick before I get into that. This is my favorite thing to do with my team, is set up Sunny Day against these Froslass teams, because I used Protect on Goodra just so I don't get faked out, and then I set up Sunny Day, completely shutting down Aurora Veil or Blizzard accuracy, and it's just so beautiful. I also wanted to make sure I didn't want to get faked out and take some chip damage. And it misses Sableye, mainly because of the accuracy drop plus Bright Powder. So yeah, this is amazing. But yeah, I'm going to burn Sneasler now, which will shut it down from really threatening Goodra. And I think I just go for the Iron Head into Froslass, because it should do a great amount of damage. I don't know why they used Aurora Veil here. Huge mistake on their end, maybe a misclick. I actually forgot they even did that, but yeah, that's like super detrimental to them right now. Like, completely wasted turn on Froslass to get like any type of like chip damage off. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna put it in a bad situation. Like they do not want to be here. So they're gonna switch out Froslass, I think, the next turn, and I think I actually go for Will-O-Wisp in that slot and go for Protect just to try to get some health back with leftovers, and knowing that they'll probably just target again with the close combat. In comes Melodic. But yeah, what I was trying to say about playing, there's so many random things that you just have to learn how to play against it. Like there's like, even though there's like 3 common Pokemon that everyone runs, Basculegion, Incineroar, Kingambit, I think that's actually a good state of a meta, because at least you know what to build around. Like if your team can't handle those 3, then you probably need to build your team a little differently. Like I know a lot of people complain about constantly running into the same teams over and over, but I think actually one of the harder things that would be is if every team was very random. I mean, in a tournament, I don't know, honestly, I feel like they might be doing open sheets. I don't even know if that's what the official format is for Pokemon Champions, is open sheets like how it was in Scarlet and Violet. But when you're playing on these online ladders, you're essentially have no information about which Pokemon has a Mega Stone, what the abilities are, what the movesets are. So a lot of times, honestly, like gimmicks can actually do better in these blind formats if you deviate from the norm, you know? That's why I think even like Charizard X in a lot of ways has had some success, because you can almost fake out people with team preview, make it like if you brought Venusaur and Charizard, like obviously they're gonna think you're running Charizard Y, and you could be something entirely different. So anyways, point being, the best way to learn is just play a lot, because you're going to get a lot of losses. I mean, I've gotten a lot of losses trying to even get to this iteration of the team. And I even lost against a lot of things I shouldn't have lost against, because I just didn't realize. And even though I've played so much, I've been more fairly casual the past year during Scarlet and Violet's like end cycle. And this is still, a new meta game. Even though they're Pokemon that have been used a lot in the past, there's been a lot of changes introduced in this game. So even as someone who's played for a while, you still have to like play a lot to kind of get into the groove of what Pokemon, what common movesets are being used, etc. So yeah, all I'm trying to say is, if you are discouraged playing the game, I feel like maybe just take breaks, or again, start out, just find some of the top teams, or even borrow this team. I feel like this team, if you're just trying to hit Master Ball, you'll definitely be able to do it with a team like this. Yeah, I guess like ultimately, I have a lot of fun playing teams, or excuse me, like team building in general. A lot of the rules I'll apply to my team building are just personal preference, honestly. Like I think I mentioned in comments, I don't know if I even, where I said this at, or if I said this on a video, but I typically don't like to have 2 Pokemon on my team weak to the same type. And I mean, a lot of times you do have to like consider the actual dual typings of Pokemon, because that will bring a different nuance to the fight. But yeah, any team I build, there won't be like 2 Pokemon weak to a ground move, for example. There'll only be at least 2 Pokemon weak to ground. But that's just my personal preference. I've seen very successful teams break that mold, and sometimes it's just a matter of playing so much that you're kind of taking a read on what people might bring, and then you could bring some sort of anti-meta. I know people, I saw a video from Cybertron VGC about Heliolisk as a counter against Basculegion, which completely, like in that situation, yeah, like the common Basculegion moveset, it completely walls it. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit here in the video. I know I'm mainly posting battles here on the channel and some teams I'm working with that inspire other trainers. But yeah, I'm always interested to have discussions about stuff in the comments if you find any of this, what I'm talking about, interesting or helpful. But yeah, as you can see, this battle, it's looking pretty good for me. I mean, I want to try to just get rid of the Froslass at this point. I'm not like particularly afraid of a Blizzard. I wanted to mention earlier, getting that Paralyze on Sinistra is actually a best case scenario, I feel like. I mean, the burn or poison wouldn't really matter, but the damage, like the health drainage would be kind of bad. But what's really helpful about this is sometimes you actually want to paralyze your own Pokemon. Kind of like a random thought. But if you're afraid of getting burned by an opponent and you have Thunder Wave, sometimes you might actually want to just paralyze your own Pokemon. That way you don't nerf your attack. I know it seems like counterintuitive, but if you get paralyzed, you know, obviously you can't be burned. But yeah, this is kind of a situation that could be bad. I was thinking, I definitely knew I could take the close combat on Goodra, but I was thinking I could probably take a last respects into Sableye here if they targeted me. They end up targeting Goodra, which I wasn't too worried about. I just really wanted to get a burn off on this Basculegion here. So I'm going to bring in Sinistra, I think, just to kind of drain a turn. Pretty much, I'm not too worried about Sneasler at this point. And I just need to connect this burn. That's what I was thinking. So I'm really hoping for the best. I'm going to try to get Trick Room as well. Unfortunately, Will-O-Wisp doesn't connect. And then Dire Claw comes into Sableye, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please do not activate anything. Very lucky I didn't get paralyzed or sleeped, or... I mean, sleep is the scariest one. That could just shut down the entire match, or a freeze. But fortunately for me, I mean, actually kind of scary, they did target Sinistra there. So I really need to connect this burn. If this burn connects this time, I have actually some wiggle room here to maybe still win the match. I was feeling good. I was going to protect with Camerupt here, but it was still just like, you know, I wasn't sure if I could even live a water move from this Basculegion, you know, with a wave crash, even if I set up the sun. So I wanted to burn and set up the sun to ensure I can at least maybe take a water move here. And fortunately for me, the Sneasler's like just trying to chip away at Camerupt too. But they actually target Sableye, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's actually kind of scary. But because of the burn, I'm able to see another day. And now it's really a matter of, I'm going to knock off, I think, into... Oh no, I want to sub Sunny Day. Because I'm thinking they're probably going to... If they don't... They probably want to double target into Camerupt here. So I'm just going to try my best to get off any damage. Maybe remove Sneasler from the field. I knew I would be able to live the close combat. I just wasn't sure if I can take a move from Basculegion. I'm thinking maybe they're just going to target Sableye anyways, which I think I might barely live another Last Respects. So in comes close combat. Brings down like maybe like a quarter of my health. And Liquidation, which I'm like, oh my gosh. I barely lived that. So honestly, if that was Wave Crash, I would have been knocked out. Which is kind of insane considering I have a burn on it and I'm in the, it's in the sun. But I was very fortunate that I even lived that, if I, like, honestly. I mean, maybe knockoff would have been enough damage. But if Camerupt was gone, I think I may have potentially just lost the game. Actually, yeah, this was very close to me losing because they could have just doubled into Sableye on the next turn. But here I just had to go for a double attack because something had to connect. Like, if I protected with Camerupt and they went for the Last Respects in the Sableye and it went down, I would have definitely just lost the game. So I definitely had I got fairly lucky in a lot of ways towards the end of this game. So GG's if you enjoyed this. Remember to subscribe, and with that being said, the Sass Squad's getting stronger each and every day. Good morning, evening, afternoon, between. I'll catch you in the next one.